Coming along, by the way. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol in our nation's capital. I did want to show you really quickly, everybody, before we actually start the show. News now on Fox 10 Extra, Channel 45, Cable 9. We had a police chase in Southern California today, the Long Beach area to be exact. I recorded on it from the beginning when we first got access to it. I would like to let you all know there's kind of a little bit of double audio here, but this was pretty much as the sun was coming up in the Southern California area because they are an hour behind us. So this was 7 o'clock, 7:30-ish our time here in Arizona, 6:30 in the Long Beach area. Again, this is our sister station's coverage, Fox 11 Los Angeles, KTTV, a replay from a police chase early this morning.
Yeah, most of the freeway is now showing moderate to heavy volume. This stretch of the 710 freeway looks heavy as you approach the 405. We're heading south now, coming away from the 91 freeway. That's where we picked this pursuit up in North Long Beach, transitioning to the southbound side of the 710. And again, he or she's driving at slow speed, slower than traffic even, in the far right lane. And the units are giving that alleged stolen vehicle suspect plenty of room. Again, they want to end these pursuits safely, and at times they will hold back just a bit. They don't want to agitate the driver. They're hoping that that suspect will pull over safely and this pursuit will come to an end. Why do they run? Because they think they can get away. And there are some individuals that have gotten away from officers, but this individual, once he or she was lit up by officers, once they ran those plates and determined that that vehicle came back as stolen, they failed to yield and the pursuit was on. Southbound side of the 710 here, approaching the 405, adjacent to the Los Angeles River here. CHP in pursuit of this stolen vehicle suspect. And again, follow along with locations. We have one of the most state-of-the-art extreme nav systems that we can overlay for you to show you exactly what off-ramp this pursuit is at. And if you are traveling in this area or at any freeway in which there is a pursuit, please, again, yield to the officers, back off, give them plenty of room. We count at least 4 CHP cruisers trailing this sedan. Dan, Rita.
Yeah, Rick, and you know, there's the things that we do know. There's the things we don't know. Who is in the vehicle? What is the state of the
Whether
driver?
or not there's a passenger.
Are there other people in the vehicle? Sometimes, you know, they have a weapon. If the car came back as stolen, no, typically when we cover these chases, the suspects tend to stay in neighborhoods that they're familiar with. But the 710, the 405 here, he's not driving, heading to the 405, I should say, not driving at any radically high, rate of speed. But still, I mean, we've seen even at slow speeds, these chases can become very dangerous. Look, as we can see the car passing in between other drivers and trucks who, even at this early hour, other people on the roads may not be aware of what's happening. And before they know it, the car goes whooshing by. Then there's a few more police officers that go by. So we're continuing to watch the situation, and you should be fully...
710 approaching the 405 here. We just got word. I was initially told by our assignment desk that it was the CHP that was the lead on this pursuit. We're now hearing Long Beach Police Department, meaning that this vehicle was checked out in Long Beach. The pursuit started in the city of Long Beach, and that's why Long Beach is definitely in pursuit here. CHP will likely be handling this as well now that it is on the freeways. They will aid in perhaps blocking on and off ramps, transition roads, holding traffic back in some cases to keep people away. Again, the speeds below 65, maybe 50, 55 miles an hour on the southbound side of the 710, approaching the 405. And again, this suspect now does have a choice to transition to either direction, the north or southbound sides of the 405 freeway. I'll tell you what, the southbound side of the 405 is typically gridlocked during the morning rush. Coming out of Wilmington, Carson, towards the South Bay curve, where the 405 meanders, makes a curve through the beach cities from Redondo, Hermosa, and Manhattan Beach. I count now close to a half a dozen units behind this alleged stolen vehicle suspect heading southbound on the 710. Well, they're going to bypass the transition road, at least one of the transition roads here. There's still one more option to transition to the south 405. And again, these individuals, these suspects, they like to stay in neighborhoods they're familiar with because they think they can duck out. They know an alley. They know a back way, perhaps. They're familiar with the streets if they live in these communities. And this is the community of Long Beach where this pursuit first started, southbound side of the 710 freeway, passing the 405. So the suspects decided not to make the transition to either direction, north or south on the 405 freeway. So the pursuit continues south along the Los Angeles River on the 710 freeway towards downtown Long Beach. That's where the 710 will turn into Shoreline Drive in the Long Beach Port area. Definitely, and we will start to see more of that vehicular traffic once the sun comes up at 6:52 this morning, and those zero-period classes, which start as early as 7 a.m. in some high schools across Southern California. Southbound side of the 710, so essentially the only option at this point that this motorist, this alleged stolen vehicle suspect, at least that's what I was told by our assignment desk. This is the Long Beach Police Department that's tracking this sedan here on the southbound side of the 710. There's off-ramps up until the port area. You have Pacific Coast Highway down below here, but then this street will transition onto Shoreline Drive right into the heart of downtown Long Beach. So this suspect either has the option to exit the freeway in the next mile or two, or make that end of the 710 transition to Shoreline Drive, which would take it towards downtown Long Beach, which is very busy during the morning hours. Speed still relatively safe. Those units are holding back just slightly, not wanting to agitate the driver, because we just don't know what we're dealing with when it comes to this suspect, the state of mind, whether or not he or she could be impaired at this time, the mental state. Bottom line, they're running here. They think they can get away from the police that are delaying the inevitable here, and this is a pursuit. And if this suspect, in addition to failing to yield and running from police officers from the Long Beach Police Department, there was a couple of CHP units we saw back there as well. It will be cited for addition vehicular violations. If there's a high rate of speed, if they're running a stoplight once they get off the freeway, those are all racked up as well. Those are options. And the options are running out here for this motorist in terms of any freeway access, because the 710 will be coming to an end here rather shortly in the Long Beach port area. This is where the Los Angeles River dumps into the Long Beach Harbor by Queen Mary, Shoreline Drive. Most of you are very familiar with this area, and that's where it will get even dicier on surface streets. No, that's exactly right. And each agency has a different protocol. There's some agencies that are a bit more aggressive, though once these pursuits start, as soon as they have an opportunity to disable the vehicle, spin it out, that pit maneuver, which they do train for. There's a training facility near the Los Angeles Reservoir off the 5 freeway in the north end of the San Fernando Valley where we watch. Now here, this is the closest this Long Beach unit has gotten to the sedan, and this is the point where we're going to see the options are running out in terms of any freeway access at this time. And it looks like the motorist is making a transition road from the southbound side of the 710. This is near the Terminal Island Freeway. This is a very busy area, the port of Long Beach. A lot of big rig traffic in and out of here from the very busy Los Angeles and Long Beach ports here. And you can see narrowing options here, and in that center divider area, now right up against the back end of this truck, exiting the freeway here. And this is where the CHP Long Beach Police Department may have an opportunity on Pier Avenue to spin the vehicle out. Once they get that opportunity, and they are getting close here, let's see what happens. And because the roadway is relatively clear, with the exception of that truck getting up on the back right side of it. Here he goes. He's going to try to spin him out, perhaps. Not quite yet there. Off the freeway here. Now we'll see. This Pier Avenue is wide open. And again, our extreme nav system showing exactly where this is, into the port area. A wide open street heading southbound on Pier Avenue, adjacent to the Long Beach Harbor here, just exiting the 710 freeway. Here he comes again, right up on him. A Long Beach police cruiser getting up towards the back right end. A couple of trucks there off to the side. Now we're seeing other vehicles here at the light, so he's got to be careful. He almost made impact there. Not quite yet. Picking up speed. If there is a wide open freeway, he's going to do it. He's going to get right up on the back side of him and spin this vehicle out and disable him. But even if that occurs, as we know, as we've seen, does not mean the danger is over. At times we see that the motorists and the occupants fail to get out. A standoff starts. Here we go, on again, and now it looks like making their way even farther south into the port area underneath Ocean Boulevard there, coming off of here. A lot of construction here now on Ocean Boulevard, making that transition to Ocean Boulevard here. And we'll see exactly how these Long Beach police officers will handle this. A little higher rate of speed now as well. We have not seen any impact of this vehicle being chased to any other cars, and we have not heard of any injuries. We do know that this pursuit for a short time was perhaps on the 605 freeway before it transitioned to the 91 west, then to the 710 south, then off the freeway here in the port. This is the fastest we've seen this pursuit go thus far. Now coming across the bridge, heading over to the Long Beach Harbor, and then the LA Harbor towards the Vincent Thomas Bridge, and then the 110 freeway. Again, a much higher rate of speed now. We're tracking it up here, and we just had to pick up our speed to track this pursuit. Heading westbound here through the port area. This is where the Long Beach Port Harbor connects with the LA Harbor, and we'll be coming up very quickly. Oh yeah, you can see very quickly here on Pacific Avenue, approaching the Vincent Thomas Bridge, which would take this pursuit onto the 110 freeway out of San Pedro north up through the Harbor Gateway, that narrow stretch of LA that connects South LA with the harbor area. More traffic coming up here too as well. And again, that looked like one of those Long Beach units was attempting almost to make impact with the back end of that car to spin it out, to disable it, and end the pursuit, but that opportunity wasn't quite there. And again, all agencies are different. LAPD, Long Beach, Torrance Police Department, and how they handle these pursuits. But the bottom line, all of them want everybody to be safe. And if they ever believe that the pursuit becomes an issue with public safety, because we've seen vehicles rip through intersections with red lights at 90 plus miles an hour, they will back off and track it by air, and they'll be able to follow that individual and bring them into custody the majority of the time. But we're not seeing that happen. The pursuit is on. We're getting ready to cross over the Vincent Thomas Bridge, over the Los Angeles Harbor, heading in a westbound direction towards the 110 freeway, and follow along. We have it up here in Skyfox, this Extreme Nav system, which shows you where this pursuit is at any given time. Dan, Rita. We're mid-span now on the Vincent Thomas Bridge here. You can see tracking it westbound on the Vincent Thomas Bridge, coming over towards San Pedro now, and those units are getting close, at least one of them again. And this stretch, the westbound side of the Vincent Thomas Bridge, very light traffic here. Northbound Harbor coming away from the bridge out of San Pedro towards Carson, towards the Harbor Gateway. Looks pretty good from my vantage point as well. If that's the transition, hey, there's one of our Fox 11 news vans there tracking this as well, coming off the bridge there. And there it goes, a four-door sedan here. Now that we're starting to get a little more illumination, the time of sunrise is 6:52 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that might help us look inside the vehicle to determine if there are any other occupants and what's going on. Bottom line, this pursuit took a turn in terms of speed. Some of the lower speeds was the result of volume. The volume on the freeways, and that definitely slowed it down for a time. But looks like here we go, that unit getting a little bit closer now, possibly an opportunity here where we don't see much in the way of vehicular traffic. This is where the Vincent Thomas Bridge dumps into San Pedro. We'll see if he goes south. That'll take him onto Gaffey Street and into the heart of San Pedro, but not the case. Here he goes. He's gonna go south on Gaffey Street. Well, maybe, oh, just missed him there. We'll see again, southbound on Gaffey Street, down towards downtown San Pedro. He had the opportunity, he or she, there you see the San Pedro sign there, to make their way north up the Harbor Freeway, to stay on a freeway towards Carson City and the Harbor Gateway, but instead this driver, this alleged stolen vehicle suspect, continues to make its way south onto Gaffey Street, and this is where we're seeing a lot more in the way of surface street traffic. People heading out to work, pulling into the parking lot here. Let's see what happens. Unclear what parking lot this is. Heading into a back alley, and this is where it really gets dangerous too. An apartment area there. Unclear if this suspect knows where they are right now, if they're trying to head into a specific location here. Now a residential area, Marshall Court, making a left there. And we'll see here, there's a pedestrian right there, very close. And this comes upon these intersections so quickly, just busted through the red light there as well. Much more dangerous now that we are on surface streets. We're in the heart of San Pedro now, having exited the Vincent Thomas Bridge, southbound on Gaffey Street, now into this residential area, heading in a westbound direction here through San Pedro, then up towards the Palos Verdes Peninsula if the pursuit were to continue that far. Slowing down here at the intersection, looks like another red light he's going to go through. He's going to turn right. This is on Bandini Street, I believe, heading back northbound here. Coming up on Santa Cruz Street, you can see all the units trailing. LAPD may get involved in this as well now that it is in their jurisdiction. I'm still counting 1, 2, 3, 4 units just meandering, doing circles now on Sepulveda Street, heading back in a westward location. If there's an opportunity now, they may try that pit maneuver. That just stands for Pursuit Intervention Technique, which they train for, a big training facility right up Interstate 5 near the Los Angeles River Reservoir, I should say, in the north end of the San Fernando Valley. Now coming up on Santa Cruz Street again. Track along San Pedro. Be careful if you live in this neighborhood. Stay inside. Don't go outside and watch. Coming up on First Street, you can endanger yourself. And this is not controlled by a light, only a stop sign. And they're trying to meander the way. They're going to try for the pit right now. There we go. As he tried to make a left on First, but now in an opposite direction. Wow, made his way through those two. And now those officers are going to have to turn around. That pit maneuver, it worked in terms of spinning him out. But I'll tell you what, he was able, just by luck, to thread the needle between those officers there. Long Beach Police, dangerous situation. Now this suspect, this alleged stolen vehicle suspect, heading west on Santa Cruz Street in San Pedro, not giving up, trying to evade officers, and got out of that one. Now on Cabrillo Avenue, you can see there's an officer there in the opposite direction. Now coming back up onto First Street, he has a green light, making a left turn here through an alleyway in a residential area of San Pedro. Marshall Court, making a right there, which would take him south back down towards First Street. Very busy on First Street. You can see a lot of traffic there. Making a right turn up. Now it looks like he may be no, he's just waiting for that one vehicle to pass, that SUV. Now heading back westbound on First Street. How much gas this vehicle has? Who knows? He could have had a full tank. If so, he still has a lot of gas to burn, but he's just doing circles in this San Pedro neighborhood. Back on Cabrillo Avenue here. Unit still tracking him. Back into that alley off of Cabrillo Avenue, trying to do whatever he or she can to evade officers. Dangerously high speeds through these narrow alleys. Back on Marshall Court, just doing a big circle. Possible he knows this area, because all he's doing is a big loop right now. Back where he just was literally less than a minute away. Back on Cabrillo Avenue. Let's see if he turns into the alley. Back into the alley. He's literally doing racetrack, high school track loops here in this area. Now stopping in this alley area. Let's see. Is he going to try it? He's trying to flee. Yep. He's fleeing here. Car's still rolling into the side of a gate there. And we're going to track him here in the back end. Is he trying to get inside that home there? Wow. I mean, does he know this house? Is he connected? Well, he was making loops around here, so it's possible he was doing that because he knows the residents. Now, someone's just walking there in the alley. I don't know if that does not appear to be a law enforcement individual. And I'm not seeing Long Beach Police right now if they're still looking in the neighborhood here. But we can tell any type of, there's no police here at all. The suspect went into a home. Anybody watching at home, LAPD, Long Beach Police, off of 1st Street, the alley immediately to the north of 1st Street. Let's widen out one more time. I want to see the parameters of where this was. 1st Street bordered by Cabrillo Avenue there. In the back alley there, on that alley behind 1st Street, which would be on the north side of 1st Street. We'll try to get the address here. Our nav system can show that as well, because I believe that the police lost them. Otherwise, we would have seen these. Yeah. It didn't appear, it didn't appear that anybody got out. I've been watching that, so perhaps just the driver, but a male suspect ditched the vehicle, exited it while it was still rolling here in this alleyway on the north side of 1st Street here in San Pedro. Here comes another, I believe, non-law enforcement individuals checking out what's happening here on Cabrillo here. Let's widen out. Let's widen. I'm very surprised. Yeah, I'm very surprised by that, and I'm not seeing those officers anywhere nearby.
All right, everybody. Ron Hoon and I will update you as to exactly how this chase ended. On News Now on Fox 10 Extra, Channel 45, Cable 9, also right here on the YouTube stream. But Kevin McCarthy is speaking live right now. Let's listen in.
Tell you that our GDP will be stronger. There'll be more Americans working, but, you know, he's true to his socialist beliefs. For the same time that the establishment in the Democratic Party, holding the papers, so here we are having an Iowa caucus just next week. Bernie Sanders hasn't been able to campaign along with the other senators. But you know who has been there the whole time? Joe Biden. It's interesting that the establishment of the Democratic Party would do anything to try to stop Bernie Sanders. Maybe they disagree with some of his ideas too, but I guess he's surging in Iowa from what I hear. Yes, sir.
Dershowitz has put forward a couple of provocative legal theories this week. One on Monday, that if a president has any mixed motive, he can't be impeached or removed. And then yesterday he went further and said that that motive can be his own reelection, that itself is good enough, and in that sense he could never be removed from office, never be impeached. Do you agree with that?
You know, that's probably a question for Dershowitz on his legal opinion. The one thing I know I have as a member of Congress, the question, does this rise to impeachment level? No. What the president did was not wrong. It's not impeachable. And the bipartisan vote inside the House